Welcome to episode 62 of the Practice Squad, a show where we talk about football, shoot the breeze, and make even the replacement refs cringe. I'm your host and fourth string quarterback Jeremy, joined each and every week by my co-host and backup long snapper Joseph. How's it going, man?
What's up?
So, what's up? That's all you got this week?
No,
Have the
I
Dolphins
was
got you so far down that you don't have the energy to say anything?
I was literally as you were talking, I was thinking, what am I gonna say? And you asked me, and I don't know. I just said what's up. I don't really have anything to go with, so that's all I went with.
It's the Dolphins. We'll just say it's the Dolphins. So we're live right here on YouTube every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Pacific. We're only 13 minutes off of that tonight. If you like what you hear and want to support us, don't hesitate to like, share, and if you're feeling extra generous, subscribe. But of course, you can always like, share, and subscribe, even if you think you could run this show better than us. So this week we've got our game of the week, which actually is the game of the week that we said it was going to be for once. Our Who Wrecked Face segment. No darndest things tonight. Neither Joseph and I were really able to watch much live this week, so we didn't get a quote for you guys. But we'll try to make up for it with our special segment of Do You Believe It? Tricky picks, and of course, we'll close out our show with our Week 9 game predictions. So let's go ahead and start off with our segment number 1, game of the week, Packers at Cardinals. The Packers on the road handed the Cardinals their first loss of the season. The Cardinals were the only undefeated team going into that game, and they are no longer. The Packers won 24-21. So this was perhaps maybe a little bit of a slow game at first. Even Joseph, you texted me at halftime and were like, if this game doesn't pick up, we're going to have to pick another game for game of the week. And I said, yeah, it's actually more, if you're watching it, it's more interesting than the box score communicates. So on the opening drive for the Cardinals, Hopkins catches this deep pass from Murray on the sideline, but he decides to grab a defender's face mask. I didn't understand
I,
that at all. He could have stiff-armed him.
I also don't understand. It looked like he stepped out of bounds, then he came back in. But did he come back abruptly, or I thought he stepped out of bounds first? That's why I was looking confused.
Stepped out of bounds before he caught the pass.
Yeah, like he stepped out of bounds and came back in.
So I think so, but I think the rule is that if you're forced out of bounds and then you come back in, that's okay. But if you go out on your own, you come back, you can't be the first person to touch the ball.
Okay.
So I didn't remember the commentators saying anything about him going out of bounds. I mean, you're probably right about that. I just think he was making contact with the defender, so it's very possible he got kind of shoved out. But either way, that face mask was totally unnecessary. Except it was weird about it, though, was that the Cardinals, they kept the yardage. So it was still counted as a completed pass. Like they got the yardage, but then they lost 15 yards because of the face mask. So I guess they called it unsportsmanlike conduct, which oftentimes, I guess maybe by rule, it's applied after the play, sort of like if a play is completed and then some guy decides to punch some other guy, it's not going to erase the previous play. It's just going to change the position of the ball on the field after the play. So I guess that's how they ruled it. Although I guess that's fair. I mean, I don't think it would be fair to say that it should erase the play because he clearly caught it before he did the face mask, right? So it wasn't like the cheating impacted the outcome of the play, if that makes sense. So the NFL isn't always that black and white and straightforward, but I think in this case that's actually fair. So I'll give the
Wait, I'm
NFL.
sorry. So they took away what happened?
So he caught the ball, and the 15-yard penalty was applied from where Hopkins, I think it was from where he caught the ball or where he stepped out of bounds. I don't remember exactly what because Because he ran into the end zone, but I don't think he was in bounds the whole way. So my memory of it is that he stepped out of bounds, and they applied the 15-yard penalty from after the catch, not from the original line of scrimmage. Could be wrong on that, and if I am,
the last part again, it wasn't the yards were applied at the catch.
The penalty yardage was applied from the catch, not at the original line of scrimmage.
Okay.
And if I'm wrong, as we said way back on the Practice Squad episode 1, if we get something wrong, shout out in the comments. Correct us. So, the Cardinals have to march back. Obviously, they lose the yardage. They have to get the yardage back. And Chase Edmonds gets a clean run in for a touchdown. So the Cardinals start off with the first points on the board, 7-0. That's pretty much it for the first quarter. First quarter was fairly uneventful. Then in the second quarter, Packers get the ball. They convert a 4th and 1. And Aaron Jones gets an awesome, I mean, this is like a game ball kind of touchdown, I thought, with that. He was wrestling Isaiah Simmons, who, it was weird because he made contact with Simmons at the goal line, broke the plane, but then Isaiah, overpowered him and threw him to the ground, but it was too late because he had already broken the plane.
That was a great run.
Yeah, it was awesome finish to that drive. So tied the game 7-7. Then, so the Packers, they sacked Murray on a 3rd and 11, and the Cardinals punted, and I think the Packers just didn't do anything with the ball on their next drive. But then on the Cardinals' next drive was when the Packers punted, and Rondale Moore muffed the punt.
That was bad.
They showed the replay, and it went off one of his fingers.
Barely, but embarrassing.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. That brings back Kyle Williams memories. So the Packers recover it at the 1-yard line, and then there was a almost amazing catch on the first play.
Dude. Who was that guy? Who was that guy?
I don't know. I think he's one of their tight ends. He was kind of a bigger guy.
Yeah.
He looked like a tight end.
That was an almost incredible catch. And that actually might have, I mean, think about it, because they got a field goal on that play. They won by 3. Obviously, we know that different things transpire throughout the rest of the game, but just in terms of points, that muff punt cost them.
Yes, it did. It really did. So the one-handed catch that wasn't to be, but it didn't ultimately matter because actually, I shouldn't say that. It did matter because the Cardinals put up a stand and the Packers kicked a field goal. However, on 3rd down, though, there was that pass to Randall Cobb that looked like he had a defender just draped all over him, and I don't know how that wasn't called for PI, but there was no flag, and then that brought up 4th down. So the Packers kick, go up 10-7, and then at the end of the half, we had a scary Rodgers Hail Mary moment on 4th and 12, and there were just a couple too many Cardinals defenders there, and the ball falls incomplete. So that closed out the half. It was 10-7, hence Joseph's text about us maybe needing to pick another game. So Joseph, do you have any other comments from the first half?
No.
Before we move on to third quarter? Okay, so in third quarter, the Cardinals' very first drive of the second half, Murray's pass is tipped and picked off, and I want to say they had like a not great return or maybe some penalty yardage or a negative play or something, because they were inside their 20, I think, or maybe even inside their 10, and the ball was picked off. It was not a pick six, but I had to rewatch that play a couple of times because the first time I watched it, it looked like the ball bounced off of one of the helmets.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it was the left guard or left tackle. I think he hit his helmet, and the receiver goes to go for it, or the running back, wherever it was. I watched it a couple times as well, and I think it bounced off his helmet, dude.
I think so too. I look, he had his hands outstretched, but because of the depth perception from the view, you couldn't tell if it did or not. But it was like it bounced off his head, and then he didn't even. It was like nothing happened. He didn't turn around, didn't flinch. He just kept blocking or doing whatever he was doing. So, it got picked off, and the Packers end up having to convert a 4th and 3 in the red zone, and they're successful. And Rodgers throws another touchdown pass to, or sorry, not another one. The first one to Cobb. There's another one later. The first one, the one from the previous quarter, should have been a touchdown, but the first actual touchdown. So the Packers are up 17-7 at this point. And the Cardinals just kind of look. Their offense just kind of looked out of sync. Murray looked like he was under a lot of pressure. His throws from outside the pocket weren't very accurate. He just kind of seemed a little flustered. Now I don't know when he got hurt, because he did get hurt, but he did play the whole game. Do you know when he got hurt? Because I wonder if that was starting to affect his play kind of in the middle of the game. But he ended up finishing the game pretty strong, so maybe it didn't have that much of an impact. I'm not sure. So the Cardinals, they put together a pretty strong answer to the Packers touchdown. They converted a 4th and 4, get a nice touchdown run by James Conner. So it's now 17-14 Packers. And then in the fourth quarter, Packers put together probably their best drive of the game and score on another touchdown pass to Randall Cobb. So they're up 24-14 now. Dude, Randall Cobb, has he been in the league since the 1980s or something? I feel like he's been a mainstay of that team for forever. He's been around since what? He's been in the league for at least 10 years, hasn't he? Let me check. I'm gonna check his stats because I feel like he's been around for a long time. It feels that way anyway. So he was drafted in 2011 and was actually, oh, this is interesting. So he was with the Packers through 2018. Then he got traded to Dallas for a year, then Houston for a year, and then came back to Green Bay this year.
Yeah, I knew he came back to Green Bay.
So, wow. Okay. Yeah, he's just been one of those, like, number 2, sort of wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 targets for the Packers for so long. Oh yeah, okay. So then the next Cardinals play to try to answer the Packers touchdown. The Cardinals decide to use their newly acquired Zach Ertz, which was a trade we never talked about, but somewhat significant. Yep. I think he was acquired. Was it 2 weeks ago, or I think it was 2 games ago. It wasn't before this game, I don't think. He converts on a couple of plays. Conner gets another rushing touchdown with 10:45 left in the fourth quarter. It's 24-21 Packers. Now, I thought this next sequence was kind of interesting, and I was curious on your thoughts of it, Joseph. So the Packers go down the field. It's a 4th and 1 at the goal line. They're up 24-21 with 3:23 left and no timeouts. They elect to pass, do a passing play on, I think they were on the 1 yard line or maybe the 2, and it's batted down and they come away with no points. So 2 questions. One is, obviously a field goal doesn't protect them from a touchdown, but a passing play on the 1 yard line when both AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones were having pretty good success on the ground. I didn't really understand that play call.
Yeah, you're thinking just go for the field goal and go to overtime, right?
No, because they were up by 3, right? So it would have been.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. Go for the field goal. Be up by 6.
Or just run the ball, right? Try to run it in rather than pass it in. I think I was more confused by the passing play.
How much time do you think they've been able to take off enough where then they kick the field goal and it?
Well, so if they had tried to run it in and didn't make it, it was a 4th and 1, so it would have stopped the clock because it was a turnover on downs.
Okay, but you're saying before that? Why not run it before that?
No, I mean on the 4th and 1 play, Aaron Rodgers passed the ball. They tried to score a touchdown by passing. And I'm saying that with the way that Dillon and Jones were playing, I didn't understand why they didn't try to run it in. Because, pass plays from the 1 yard line are tough to pull off. And when you have a rush, yeah. But then when you have a rushing play, it's like when you're having rushing success, I guess it would have made more sense. But I guess if so, grant them, okay, fine, whatever, they pass. If you're the head coach in that situation, would you have kicked the field goal, or would you have tried to go for the touchdown with 3:23 left and you have no timeouts?
What do the Cardinals have left?
The Cardinals, I think, had 2 timeouts left at that point.
I think I go for the touchdown and leave him in a spot where, because now because here's the thing, if you get a field goal, then you can either get a touchback or a good kickoff return. If they go for if they don't get it, the Cardinals need to get more than a field goal to win, but they still need a field goal to tie. And so being down at the 1 yard line or so would be a great punt. Act like a great punt.
I actually muted, so Joseph said bless you, but I sneezed quietly.
Oh.
I mean, I guess it's really a question of, do you want to protect yourself from overtime, or do you want to try to, seal the end of the game, essentially? Those are the two
they didn't,
things that you're balancing, right?
Cardinals were not having a very good offensive day. And so if they try to go for the touchdown and they turn the ball over on downs with that much time left, they're basically saying to the Cardinals, okay, you have 3-ish minutes. You have to drive, 65 yards, kick a long field goal to tie, or give us enough time left to, come back and win for the field goal, or you have to drive 90-ish, 98, 99 yards, whatever, score a touchdown. And maybe they were thinking, you know what, if we score a touchdown, we seal the deal, and if we don't, trust having enough time, and Cardinals haven't been on it, so they have to drive all the way down, which ironically they did, but we'll get to that next. So I don't think it was a bad call. It was a gutsy call. I don't think it was as gutsy as maybe some might say.
So how about this? If the Packers had say 2 timeouts left with 3:23 in this situation, do you think they should have kicked? Because then if the Cardinals do go down and score a touchdown, they have 2 timeouts in their pocket, and all they need to do is respond with a field goal, right?
Yes, that's fair. That's a good point.
So maybe it was the fact that they didn't have timeouts that might have been the kicker, no pun intended, for them deciding to go for it on 4th down. But you're right. So then, moving on, Um, the Cardinals do actually putting together one of their better drives of the day, which is exactly I think what the Packers were banking on them not doing. And there was a great catch and run by Chase Edmonds on what looked like a pretty obvious holding call that wasn't called on the line. But it wasn't flagged, so they get down. They have a chance to put it away. Murray throws a pretty good ball to AJ Green, who is, looking at his phone or something and totally facing the wrong way, and the ball's picked off and the game's over.
Yeah. So I think there could have been some justification for defensive interference there, and maybe that's what he was looking for. I'm not sure, but it looked like there was even more confusion than that because he just gave up too quickly. I don't really know what was going on there.
You just don't see veteran guys not at least turn around to at least try to make a play, or maybe he must have thought that he was not supposed to get thrown to or something. I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking. And even the commentator was like, I can't even fathom he said, I think his words were, I can't even fathom what was going through Green's mind.
Yeah, I think I recall that.
On that play. So, obviously, disappointing ending for Cardinals fans at home watching their, off-season acquisition, almost get hit in the helmet with a ball on a play that could have ended the game. And I think if Green had been facing the ball, I think he would have caught it. Like, it was a pretty good pass. So, there's a really high chance he would have caught it, and he just didn't. So, so that wrapped up the game. And I got to say, as an overall comment for both of these teams, the Packers are just playing really good football right now. They're kind of the whole package, which it's been a while since I think anybody's truly been able to say that. They've got Aaron Rodgers playing like he wants another MVP. They've got a running game that's finally working out really well, and they've got a defense that's not amazing, but it's forcing turnovers and it's playing kind of clutch. And that is a recipe for a deep playoff run. Like they are definitely in line, I think, for another championship game if they keep playing like this. So they're a threat, more so than I thought they would be. And the Cardinals, I think, just need they need to shore up their run defense. And I think Murray, they might have some questions now with Murray being hurt. I don't know how long he's going to be out, but it looks like he's going to be out this week, which is great for the Niners. But not for the Cardinals. And I'm actually going to the game this weekend, which is Cardinals at Niners. They're coming to Levi Stadium. I'm going to be at the game with my wife and my son. So I'm excited to see them play, and I'm fine not getting to see Murray if it means the Niners can win. But I think the Cardinals are still in the top 3 best teams, I think, but I would say right now they're the 3rd behind the Bucks and the Packers.
Ooh, what about Cowboys and Ravens?
Sorry, I meant in the NFC.
Okay, how about
in the
Cowboys?
NFC, I think they're the 3rd best right now.
You think the Cowboys are the 3rd best? Or you think the Cardinals are the 4th best?
No, I think the Cardinals are the 3rd. I think the Cardinals are better than the Cowboys. I don't know if I totally trust the Cowboys yet.
Okay.
Okay. So, did you have any more comments on this one before we move on to our next segment?
Yeah. So Murray just looked rushed, flustered most of the game. He didn't really seem comfortable. I don't know if their offensive line had a breakdown or if the Packers was on it, came to their pass rush, but Murray just had a scramble. He just seemed flustered. Yeah, combined, they had a find Rodgers and Murray had a pretty poor performance. I think they were 44 of 70 for like 478 yards, much to balk at, and then 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. So for passing, so yeah, it wasn't. It was impressive. So I don't know if, but Murray did look either off or rushed too much. So I'd be curious to see how much of that was due to the injury or how much for the offensive line. What your guys' defensive line can do next week.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's. I think their backup is Colt McCoy. So that
For the
helps.
Cardinals?
Yeah. So that helps. All right. So our second segment of the night is Who Wrecked Face this week, and we've got less picks than in previous weeks. Joseph's going to do our solo quarterback, one rushing pick, and then the receivers, and I'm going to do one rusher and the defensive players.
All right. Start us off. Deebo Samuel, 6 receptions for 171 yards. That's a 28.5 average. And then we have A.J. Brown, receiver for the Titans. He had 10 receptions on 11 targets, 155 yards and a touchdown. And then Mike White, quarterback for the Jets, playing for Zach Wilson. His first career start home against the Bengals. 37 of 45. Calculate that really quick.
82%.
That is an 82. Yeah, that is amazing. And he should have been higher because his receivers. Yeah. So 37 out of 45, 82%, 405 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. And if you watch those picks, one of them is kind of his fault, but it's a tight throw, but it wasn't terrible. It hit the receiver's hands. He tipped it, intercepted. And then, I think on the next drive, another interception. But the guy just should have caught it. But he didn't throw it hard. It was a quick little slant pass or in the flat, I believe the term is. And the guy had already turned his body. So maybe, worst case scenario, Mike should have waited, 1/10 or 2/10 of a second, but he was getting rushed. The guy was open. The ball just hits the guy in the helmet. So yeah, it was barely his fault. I watched those plays on slow-mo multiple times. So yeah, great win there for him. And then the Eagles rushing, 236 rushing yards on a 5.1 average and 4 rushing touchdowns. And their longest was only 21 yards. So very solid rushing there.
Nice. Then we got one more rusher, which is Elijah Mitchell, who was a 6th round pick for the Niners this year. Great, awesome pickup. 18 carries, 137 yards for a 7.6 average and a touchdown. If you go watch the YouTube highlight of his touchdown, just watch it. I'm not going to say anything about it. It was in the... Let me get it real quick so you can just go straight to the thing. I think it was the 4th quarter. Let's see. What's going on here? Oh, I was looking at the wrong week. Week 9. Of course, there's no box scores from week 9 because week 9 hasn't happened yet. Okay, play-by-play. I know this is fascinating listening to me do this. Touchdown.
What? I'm watching it now. What?
Yeah, it was at the end of the third. It was at the end of the, or no, sorry, at the beginning of the 4th quarter.
That's not fair. You get 4 or 5 offensive linemen just
the whole team, dude. It was basically the whole team pushed him in. That was we've lost 4 games in a row and we have to win this game push.
was. That was ridiculous. Oh man.
Okay, so we got that awesome rushing performance, and then we got a few more defensive players. So I think I've called out the linebacker duo for Atlanta in one previous week, but yet again they knocked it out of the park. So we had, I'll try my best with this name, Foya Sade Oluokun, 16 tackles, 1 quarterback hit, and then Deion Jones, 14 tackles and a forced fumble. And then Derwin James, safety for the Chargers, had 13 tackles, a forced fumble, and a tackle for loss. So yeah, that rounds it out. I don't think we had any got wrecked this week. There were some teams that did poorly, but not poorly enough to get called on for it. So, all right. So for our normal third segment would be commentators say the darndest things. We don't have a quote for that this week because as I explained at the beginning of the show, we weren't able to watch a whole lot of games live. So it just there wasn't anything to pick up from that. We're not going to make something up. So hopefully we'll be back on with that next week. All right. So going on to
segment. Tricky picks. Tricky picks.
Do you want to do tricky picks for next before we do our special segment? All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So apparently I was 4-3 and Joseph was 3-4, which means we're now back to being tied at 16 and 22.
Okay.
So what are our week 9 tricky picks?
So this one, you're going to have to be 1, paying attention, 2, 100% honest, because 3, even if you are those things, probably still have an advantage. There's a reason why I asked the question that I did when I texted you. How many times will Jeremy and or his boy make a trip to the bathroom if they arrive to the stadium? Over under 2.5. So this could be your wife taking him. This could be by yourself. You and him going, that would count as 1 together. So over under 2.5 times will you and or your boy make a bathroom trip once you arrive?
It was over under 2.5, right?
Yeah.
It's so just for context for those of you who don't know, because I don't think I've actually brought this up before. My son started potty training. We started potty training him like 3 weeks ago, I think. So he's still learning how to tell us he needs to go, and we're still having occasional accidents and stuff like that. So this is an interesting one. I actually didn't even think about the fact that we were going to take him to the bathroom, so this is a good mental preparation for me. I'm going to say over on that.
Okay. I originally thought about doing 3.5 as the over or over under. I was like, but then or maybe 3, but yeah, I went over as well. Will his son, I guess ask these, not your son. Will his son ask for food in the first quarter? Here's some caveats. He has to ask, taking him and getting him food. He has to ask for food. Will he ask for food in the first quarter?
No.
I said no as well. On the first trip to get food, will he either get nachos, pizza, or popcorn? I guess he has to want those things. Get it for him regardless. But will he want/get nachos, pizza, or popcorn on his first food trip?
So why don't we do it this way? Because I don't know. Because that's a swayable thing, right? So what we could do is we could say, if we ask him of those 3, would he, if of the choices that we give him, does he voluntarily pick one of those 3? Is that in line with?
Yeah. So
or is
you
that
would
too
ask
easy?
Actually, that's probably too easy. So tell you what, we'll make it. We'll balance it out. We'll just say, will he choose pizza? So if you give him all the options, you include pizza as one of the options. We'll just say, will he choose pizza?
I'll say yes.
First. All right. Oh man, I was thinking no. I'm gonna go no. trust your ooh, that'll be interesting. Okay, so you'll give him a bunch of options. Will he choose pizza on his first food trip? Okay. Over under on how much Jeremy will spend on food and drinks for his family.
Oh gosh.
I said $30. I said 25. I thought, but I'm changing it to 30. So $30. I'm going. Well, I'll see what I'm going afterwards. So, are you going to spend more or less than $30 for food and drinks of your family, Jeremy?
Oh, more. No question. That stuff is, dude. It's like $11 hot dogs or whatever. It's so expensive.
What did we get, dude? Did we get? I remember. I think. What did we get? We got nachos.
Didn't we get like brisket or something? They have a good couple of good brisket like barbecue places. I think we might have gotten that or
one. Well, when we went with Sean, we went to IHOP first, right? Denny's or something.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did, huh?
And then with you, when it was me and you, I thought I got nachos.
Oh, I think you got nachos that time. The Titans game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you got nachos. Yeah. I don't remember what I got.
All right. All right, a couple more here. Will his son cry at all during the second half?
Yes.
All right, I said oh. I should be a dad.
I really don't know what he's going to do about the noise. I have to coach him on this, like prepare him mentally for how loud it's going to be.
Dude, you might honestly want to consider bringing some kind of earplugs or headphones, like.
I think we will. I think we will. I just don't know if he'll keep them in.
That's fair. Well, what if you do like the muffs that go over the ears? Those more comfortable for him?
He'll want to take them off.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's going to be asking a lot of questions and stuff. So if he has those in his ears, he's not going to be able to hear our answers. So I don't even know if that'll end up working, but we'll probably have something to try to give him some protection.
I know this is kind of crazy, not very practical, but if you're sensing a big like scoring opportunity or something, you can just have your hands next to his face, ready to cover his ears.
That's a possibility. I mean, if I'm not, I'll be celebrating. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe Mina will be on that duty.
All right, 2 more here, but these aren't about. Will the score be within 6 points? So 6 included. Will it be within 6 points at halftime?
Then we're still talking about the Niners Cardinals, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
I said yes to crying if you would catch that. Last question. Will Murray have more total yards than Niners? Oh, he's not playing, is he?
No. I mean, it's not. Okay. I don't think he's officially been ruled out, but the Vegas line just dropped like 3 points today, so I'm pretty sure it's like I'm pretty sure he's out. Like let's just assume let's pick something that's non-Murray related because I'm pretty sure he's out.
Will Debo have 35 plus receiving yards?
Yes.
Said no. It's a tough one.
That's a really good one. That's tough. That's like a coin flip for me.
135 sounds good. Okay, that's it. All right.
Well, I guess actually that's a dumb comment, isn't it? Because a really good betting pick should be a coin flip, shouldn't it?
Yes, so
that you maximize the number of people that lose. Statistically, right?
Well,
for the house, right? Because it's a house pick, right? Because the house wants as many people to lose as possible.
True, but so they would, but I guess for how we're doing this, it's trying to figure out which one's more likely. I mean, they're doing that as well, but I think they do bets. Meaning what I'm trying to say is I think 135 was a good number to make it a difficult pick, but I'm not convinced that Vegas pick 135, if that makes sense. Or
that's true. I don't know. I don't know how that, I guess, mathematically would work out if they tried to go for over-unders that they think are statistically 50-50. I'm not sure how that's calculated. I might be wrong about that. There's probably a little bit more nuance to it than that, but I'm not a gambler, so I don't know. I never have and never will work for Vegas. So okay, so was that the last one?
That's it.
All right. So moving on to our special segment for the night, and this is our "Do You Believe It" segment, which we have done one time before this season. And the way this segment works is I ask Joseph a series of questions, and he gives his answers, and they're based on trends or patterns of things happening in the NFL so far this season. And essentially, the question will be, do you believe that this is the case? Now, I modified it a little bit this time, and that it's not necessarily a trend. It could have been an event that relates to a trend, or an event that I think might change the trajectory of something. So I think you'll understand what I mean when I start asking the questions, but that's essentially what it is. So this isn't so much a like, is Joseph right or not, which we'll find out later anyway. It's more of a opportunity to spark some discussion based on some interesting things going on in the NFL. So the first question is, do you believe that the Von Miller trade makes the Rams the NFC favorite?
Ooh, that is a good one, because I texted you talking about trying to solidify the Rams Super Bowl. Oh man. I mean, I really do feel like Rams, Cards, Packers, kind of all really close. The Bucks are on. They're probably the best team, but they are probably less consistent.
Yeah.
Man. So Von Miller got some left in the tank, I don't doubt. I don't know who he's replacing on their defense, but we know the Rams have a good defense, right? I would be surprised if they don't have a top 5 to 7 offense and simultaneous top 5 to 7 defense, or at least in playmakers they do. I would say that it would put them to number 2. So on a consistent basis, it might. You don't include potential. I think it will. What I mean by that is, I think, like I said, when the Bucks are hot, they're number 1, or when they're on it, they're the best. The Rams, well, what was the Rams lost to the Bucks, right? Lost? Or no, they crushed the Bucks. So what was the Rams' loss?
Yeah, the Rams' loss was to the Cardinals.
Cardinals. Yeah, the Cardinals ran over them. That's right. So I'm gonna say it's so close. I can see it. It's a tough one. I think Miller has enough left in the tank. I just don't know who he's replacing. That's a good question, man. I'll end it there. I think I've said enough there.
So if you had to say I do believe it or I don't believe it, what would your answer be?
It's 51-49. I'll say.
Okay. All right.
It's hard to say.
All right. I will record you saying that. Well, there's already an audio recording of you saying that, but I'm recording it on paper. Okay, the next question is, do you believe...
No, sorry.
You don't believe in anything. Okay, this show's over. Do you believe that the rest of the AFC should be worried about the Patriots?
Ooh, so maybe not that question, not the rest of the AFC, but the teams that are looking for a wild card spot.
You're not allowed to rephrase the question because you don't believe in anything.
I believe that my rephrasing is better than the original question. So, no, it is a good question, but I'll answer it according to my edits, because I do believe it's the wild. So I thought about that. So let me look. I actually going through schedules again. I actually think in a few weeks it'll be good for us to do our whole, is the season over kind of thing. There's been some interesting updates. My original answer was no. Give me like 10 seconds to quickly confirm here. Okay,
so while you're confirming, I'll just say for context, the Patriots did just beat the Chargers, and they are 4-4 after a win over the Chargers, a devastating win over the Jets, and then a less than touchdown loss against the Cowboys, right, which was an overtime loss. Their only other losses, they lost to the Bucks by 2 points, the Dolphins by 1 point, and they lost to the Saints by 15. So the Saints was kind of the only game where they sort of got routed. But every other game they've actually competed really well in.
So yeah, so there's further so I looked at it, and 10 is their max, 9's reasonable, 8 is reasonable, but 9's more reasonable. So originally, when we did the whole their season like is a team season over thing, we picked 10. Thought 10 was the criteria, but for the AFC, looking more like 9. Bengals, Browns, and Steelers. The Steelers winning, they're still I think done, but Bengals, Browns, Steelers, especially if the Bengals lose to the Browns and they're both 5-4, that's really interesting. The Chiefs winning, the Chargers losing, the Broncos win again, but we know that they've only beat bad teams. So, if the question is, should teams that are fighting for the wild card right now be concerned? I'm going to say mostly yes. I think the Patriots can get to 9, and I think 9 is going to be that number that is going to cause separation, and you're going to have to look at tie breaks. Like, I don't think both wild cards will have 10 wins, and there's a possibility that both wild card teams have 9 wins. But I think at least one will have 9 wins. So with that context, I'll say mostly yes.
Okay.
I think the Patriots get to 9.
Yeah, and I think it was more. I think the question is more focused around not so much will they make the playoffs, or if they do, what their record's going to be. It's more, if you're one of the good teams in the AFC, are you worried about playing the Patriots?
Oh, no. I would say no. Yeah, if you're the Bills, Ravens, and a healthy Titans, because sadly Derrick Henry's injured, and they do play the Titans in a few weeks, so that's a big game. And maybe one of the AFC West teams, I would say no to that question.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so the next question. Do you believe that the Browns will continue to wade through mediocrity or emerge as a strong playoff contender?
Oh, the first one. Listen to this. They have both Bengal games and both Raven games. Which, by the way, the Raven games are back-to-back. And they still have at Patriots, Raiders, at Packers, at Steelers. That's pretty brutal. Yeah, they have a Lions game in there, but so what? So I think the Browns are another team that's on the 9-win fringe. And this at Bengals game is huge because I'll put them at 4-5 if they lose. So, yeah, I mean, they have 5 division games left, and 3 of them are on the road, and they have Raiders, Packers. So I'm going to say the former.
Okay. All right. I think I agree with you, unfortunately. I thought I believed in them a little bit more to start the season, but
I did. You know what? I was feeling it too. I was like,
they've had some injury problems and have a tough schedule. So I think a combination of those two things, I think they're going to be on the fringe this year. Okay, next question. Do you believe that the Titans can win their division without Derrick Henry?
Oh, hey, that's relative related to what we talked about. Yeah, I think got the Colts 3-5. I think I'm not sure what happened. I texted you.
The Colts are
they're 3-5.
They are 3-5. Okay.
Yeah, I think I don't know if I
just
forgot.
pulling up the standings.
Yeah, I don't know what was
3-5.
going on. But was it a text or an email that I said that about the Colts and Titans? I think it was an email. And
I think it was an email. Yeah.
I looked at the Titans. I looked at the Colts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so Titans are a yes because they're already 6-2, and you're the one that said the head-to-head matchup win was a big deal, and it will be. the Colts had won that, then. But even then, even without Derrick Henry, I think the Titans are still better. But the Titans still have some decent games left. I think they'll still win probably 10 here. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, they'll win 10, maybe even 11. So that's a yes. They'll win without Derrick Henry.
Okay.
Which is sad. Which, by the way, Derrick Henry's having an incredible season. He would have another All-Pro already this season, and probably another. Yeah, he's been crazy.
Yes, he has. Absolutely. Okay, so the last question of this segment is, do you believe that Kyler Murray has a realistic chance to win MVP if he sits out for 1 week due to injury?
No, and I'll even double down. He may not even be realistic if he doesn't sit out. I think he's dropped down a bit the last few weeks. And I think Brady, probably Stafford, and I know there's someone else. I think that they're better candidates. So the answer to your question is doesn't have a realistic shot. Sits out. But even if he didn't sit out, he's gotta pick it up, I think. But it's not super unrealistic. You gotta pick it up.
Okay. All right. So you'd say he has an outside possibility.
If he doesn't sit out. But I think
But he is for a game. So you're saying it's a done deal that he's not, given that he's going to miss a game.
I think that's going to really hurt him, yeah.
So are we talking like less than 10% chance?
Oh, I'd say less than 20.
Okay, I'll say less than 20%.
15.
Say 15%.
If he sits out. If he doesn't sit out, like probably 30, 35. And that sounds good to people, but to be honest, I don't know. I guess with how he started and expectations, I felt like it probably would have been higher. Especially since like Allen and Mahomes have had down years so far. So I think if you go back a few weeks ago, he was looking at more like a 50 to 70% winner, probably, maybe even higher. So
I don't know. We're saying Allen is having a down year, but he's actually.
Is he not?
Well, okay. So far he's played only 7 games. He has almost 2,000 yards, 17 touchdowns, only 3 picks, which is actually one of the better ratios. But then he also has rushing yards too. So his rushing stats, he is 52 rush, 269 yards, 5.2 average, 3 touchdowns. So he has 20 total touchdowns and 3 interceptions with no lost fumbles.
And he's got over 2,000 yards, and he has 1 less game. You know what? I stand corrected. Allen's up there. So I would say right now, top 3 candidates are going to be Brady, probably Stafford, then Rodgers and Allen will be there. Those are your top 4, I think. But I can see Allen ahead of Rodgers. So, yeah, thanks for correcting.
Anytime. All right. So that concludes our 5th segment, our Do You Believe It segment, and we'll probably revisit this in another 3 or 4 weeks. Our last segment, that's a new word. Our last segment of the night is segment number 6, predictions. This last week was just awful. Just terrible. Both Joseph and I were sub 500. I was 7-8. Joseph was even worse at 5-10. We got to pick it up. I sank to 61.5%. You sank to 62.3%. So we were looking good after last week, and then now we're not so much. So I would say that this is easily our worst week of the season so far.
Yes, and collectively this might be one of our worst weeks ever on the show. Do you have those
collectively, yeah. I mean, 7 and 8, we've had some 500-ish weeks before. 5 and 10's pretty bad.
Don't you have the archives? Like don't you have a spreadsheet that has the records for each year?
I have a spreadsheet from I think the last 2 seasons.
Okay.
I have the ability to dig through the notes and get what the record was from every previous season, but I think I at a minimum have a spreadsheet from last year and I think the year before.
All right, it might be worth it to spend a little bit of time.
Yeah, maybe at the end of this season we could go over like our best and worst weeks and stuff.
Yeah,
that might be fun. That actually reminds me, I need to build that spreadsheet for this year. Okay, so our predictions for week 9. There are 14 games this week, and starting off, the barn burner Thursday night game, Jets at Colts. The Jets are lighting a fire underneath me a little bit, like a few embers, a little bit. So that makes this actually a little bit uncomfortable. I'm gonna go Colts, but I don't feel great about this.
That's fine. I'm going Colts as well, but Browns, Bengals, go Bengals.
Same. Broncos, Cowboys. Is Dak still out?
So, I think it's a game time decision. But think about it: if he was a game time decision, and they won on the road against the Vikings with Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush was that his name?
I think so.
And if it was really game time, adding an extra week would be good. But honestly, even if he doesn't play, they're at home. Broncos have only beaten bad teams. I think I'd go Cowboys either way, but we don't know yet. If you want to make it conditional, go ahead, but I'm going Cowboys either way.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna go Cowboys regardless, but I was just curious. Okay, next one.
Sorry, tired there. Houston at Miami. If Miami doesn't win, that's more of how I'll rephrase this question. If Miami doesn't win,
okay, I'm going Dolphins. Falcons at Saints. I'm going Saints.
Tough one. Winston's out. Bummer for them. This is a tough game. I'm actually going to go Falcons. I think they put up a stinker against the Panthers last week. Was it 19-13?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, but you know what? Saints have been kind of iffy. I think I can see them winning, but like Winston was a good contributor, and I don't know who they're going to start, and maybe they'll get surprised. I mean, if the Bucks can get surprised New Orleans, then the Falcons can surprise New Orleans in New Orleans. So that's my logic.
I like that thinking.
All right, we have Raiders at Jets going Raiders. I'm sorry, Raiders at Giants going Raiders.
Same. The Saints should give the Niners a second-round pick for Jimmy G. The Saints need a quarterback. Sean Payton, can you hear me? You need a quarterback. We'll eat the salary. Just give us a second-round pick for Jimmy G so that Trey Lance can play this season.
I second that. Whoever that was on your end saying that, I second that.
Yeah, it's just some guy that just came in here. It was like he had like gold chains and the bleeding red and gold. But he's gone now. So back to the picks. I'm also going Raiders.
All right, you're next. Go ahead.
Patriots at Panthers. This one's kind of tough, but I'm a Patriots believer now. I'm a Mac Jones guy.
Mac attack?
Yeah, Mac attack.
So this one was tough too. I'm going Panthers.
Okay.
I think Darnold might,
might throw for 5,000 yards this season.
Just in the game.
Oh, just in the game. Okay. That's
He might be
realistic.
might be grateful. So he might express some gratitude that they didn't trade him for Deshaun Watson and give him a reason to to be thankful or great that and give him a reason to be glad they made that decision. I know McCaffrey's still out, but I'll go Panthers. Next one, toughest game of the week, no doubt. Buffalo at Jacksonville.
Oh goodness gracious! Did you see any of the Seahawks Jaguars game last week?
No, but I don't think I can pick the Jags again unless they play like the Texans.
Oh,
I'll watch the game. I was feeling a little hype on the Jags last week.
dude.
That hype is forever gone, and
Yeah,
I
no,
want
it's gone.
to
Um,
obviously going Bills here.
yeah, I'm going Bills, and
Do you
oh
think the
man,
Bills will win by 25 or more?
they could, they
Yeah.
should.
Well, didn't the Seahawks win 33-7?
I think it was it 33-7 or hold on, let me check. This is really important. This is incredibly important stuff here. 31-7.
Okay.
Yeah, and the Bills are way better than the Seahawks. So I think we're yeah, let's it was in Seattle to be fair, but still. Yeah, I'm going Bills. All right, next game. This game actually I'm looking forward to potentially watching this one actually. This is Vikings at
Great.
Ravens. I'm going to go Ravens, but mainly because they're at home.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think this could be close. And this is one of those games. If the Vikings win this, that might steal them as a wild card team. If they lose, they're not out. They're still the Niners game, and they still have it's iffy. But if they win, as long as they don't choke, might seal their wild card spot relatively.
I'd say this: if the Vikings win this week and the Niners lose, then you might be right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm also going Ravens, and then Chargers, Eagles, Chargers. I think the Chargers are better than 4-3. Having just a down few weeks, I think they pick it back up. Eagles are not playing too bad, but Chargers will pick it back up.
Did you see that 40 burger that they laid out on the Eagles, on the Lions that we both picked last week?
I know, dude. I was like, what? The Lions give the Rams a run for their money, but then they get destroyed by the Eagles.
I know, at home too.
Yeah, that didn't make sense. I'll have to watch those.
Yeah, well, bad teams don't make sense. So, yeah, I'm picking Chargers too. Although this is another one of those games that I don't bet money on this. Just don't.
Yeah, trap game.
Am I next?
Yeah.
Packers at Chiefs. This is a tough one because I feel like one of these weeks the Chiefs have to wake up, right? But the Packers are really good, so it's hard to know when that's going to happen. But I'm just going to go with the hot team right now, which is the Packers.
Yeah, same. Chiefs are weird. I texted Jeremy that I was rooting for them to lose towards the end of the Giants game because I kind of just wanted to see them get knocked out. Like I like Mahomes, and I said that they were going to win the Super Bowl this year, and I would have had a problem with that a couple of games ago. But just kind of seeing the struggle, and it just kind of helps to have the knowledge that they're out. But the fact that they're still kind of in it, it's like, oh, what's going on? Are they going to storm back and take the division? Are they going to be that hot wild card team like the Packers were in 2011 or 10 or whatever, 12, and went on a tear? I mean, are they or the Giants, being a wild card and winning Super Bowl twice? What's going to happen? So, yeah, I'm pretty sure the Giants were that. But anyways, going Packers. Cardinals at Niners. I'd like you and your family to see a Niners win, but oh wait, I did not know that Murray was out, so I'm changing my pick. I was gonna pick Cardinals right now. My whole mantra, and they're good and all that, but they're on the road.
Well, they lost this last week though, so that mantra doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, well, that's true, but they're playing the Niners. But
oh, that hurts.
You're gonna be there, right? And
I'm gonna be yelling. Ooh.
Didn't the Niners win both times that you went, Sean?
No, remember they beat the Titans with the game-ending field goal, and then they've lost to the Bears on
Oh, it was
that
heartbreaking.
ridiculous
Yeah,
interception.
yeah, it's right towards the end, and I forgot the quarterback, but he was
It was Nick
scrambling.
Mullins. He should have run for the first down. It was
Yes,
fourth down. He
yes.
should have run, but instead he threw, and it was like this out of bounds interception.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, sorry to bring that up, but with Murray out, they're on the road. Jeremy and his family are going to the game. Changing my pick to the Niners.
So I'm picking Niners, but only because Murray's not playing, and also they're also without J.J. Watt too this week.
So he's looking less.
Well, he was pretty dominant when they played the first time, so that'll help our line a little bit. Okay, so we're same on that pick. Then next one is Titans Rams. I'm going Rams.
Yeah, I mean, you're at home, hot team, and Derrick Henry's not playing, so.
And then you got the last one.
Did I not? Wasn't it the last game?
Nope.
Or did
The
I
last
not?
game is Bears at Steelers.
Oh,
So you get a freebie there, and then I don't think you have to think about that one too much.
When I took a snippet, I don't think I took the whole. I did not. My snippet ends at Rams, so I didn't even pick that. All right, what was the game again?
Bears at Steelers. It's a freebie.
Okay, Steelers.
Yeah, same. Okay, so we're different on two: Falcons, Saints, and Patriots, Panthers. Lions, Seahawks, Bucks, and the football team are on bye this week. And Joseph and I decided together that even though there are some matchups that are a little bit more premier, if you will, this week, they do involve teams that we have watched multiple times so far this season. So we decided to dip in this week and watch a couple of teams that are going to get a little bit less attention because we are going to try to watch every team if we can. So we are going to watch the Texans-Dolphins game, of course, unless it's a romp, and then we'll pick something else. But that is our game of the week, is Texans at Dolphins. So, Joseph, do you have any last words for our audience before the next time we talk to each other on this podcast? I will have gone to my 4th ever football game and 4th game at Levi Stadium.
Nice. Now, the first one you went to, did they win?
Yes. They beat the Eagles. It was Harbaugh's last year, 2014. They beat the Eagles. It was a really epic comeback win, actually. So they're wait a second. I'm trying to think, was there another game that I went to that I'm not remembering? I don't think so. No, because I didn't go last year. Yeah, no. So they're 2-1 with me there. So
right.
We'll see.
Yeah. The only thing I really could say is just if the Dolphins lose against the Texans, not watch a game for a while.
Yeah, there will be some long postmortems.
Oh man, I'm glad we're sticking with Tua. I really am. I think our offensive line is our biggest problem. The defense not living up to their talent potential. So,
yeah, root for him to develop. That's what we got to do, right? This is a development year anyway, and it wasn't like this was going to be a Super Bowl year. So just you develop him and you look forward to next year. All right. So on that positive note, that is a wrap for episode 62. If you didn't fall asleep during tonight's episode or any of our past episodes, please like, share, and subscribe here on YouTube, as those are free ways for you to support our show. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at The Practice Squad and at Neuralizer_. Just as a reminder, if you've missed past episodes, you can watch or listen to them right here on my YouTube channel. Tonight's show will be available immediately after we go offline. As always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.